Why Thor took down 300 of his own videos. PirateSoftware Clips by Pirate Software.
The music is pretty sick, too. Which sound on? No, because then I'll get DMCA'd. That's one of the biggest dangers, is like I can't put on the audio for this because then I get DMCA'd. Right. It happens every damn time. And it's not by, it's by automated on YouTube. It's always by automated on YouTube. Sometimes it happens 6 months later. You know when we did the Streamer Awards? You remember when I was watching the Streamer Awards? Like, when Cutie Cinderella was, like, announcing stuff? Yesterday, all of the music from that stream got DMCA'd. And I had to delete the VOD on YouTube. Yesterday, that happened. Suddenly got like 6 copyright claims. I was like, all right. Because it wasn't DMCA free. Even when it says sometimes it's DMCA free, then I gotta go fight that. It's annoying.
That's actually one of those that was a huge pain in my rear because I go through Epidemic Sound now, right? I pay for my subscription. I pay for my license. And even then, that didn't stop them from copyright claiming the Brandon Hirotokura video. And I made 2 videos on this. Like, it's absolutely asinine. And, you know, without getting into an entire rant, we can trace a lot of what's going on, I think, back to 2 big events. One is Metallica versus Unfaith, Canadian band, over a chord progression, them winning that lawsuit, which sets precedent over copyright and audio. And then I think it was it Viacom versus YouTube? I think that also has put in place a lot of the modern stuff. And I think that copyright does have a place. I think that when you look at copyright, should I be able to upload the entirety of Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, right, to YouTube and not get any sort of like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, right? I think it's completely fair that I can't use, you know, a movie, half a movie, right? The issue becomes when there doesn't seem to be any sort of like restrictions against what can be claimed. Like the claimant doesn't seem to have many restrictions, if any at all, that are at least pushed upon them. You have situations where you have people that have no claim to the actual product and they're still just able to claim it just fine, and you're like, that's fine. And then you submit your counterclaim because whenever I've signed a counterclaim, I have to, you know, send my full legal name, and now my legal name is out there, right? So copyright is a very hot button issue, and there's no sort of like statute of limitations in regards to, you know, we'll have Epidemic Sound, we'll have, what was the other one? Super Bam Inc. is one that I've definitely come across a few times where, and you know, you try and message them and you put your channel at risk because you have to send your channel to them in order for them to look it over. But by doing that, it can be double-edged sword because now we're going to file this, all these claims at you, right? And, you know, they can do it 2 years after after the date, right? So we're in for a copyright overwork because the internet and copyright has kind of evolved past the point where it currently is. But if it's reworked in the wrong way, it can be a headache for a lot of other people. So sometimes it's better to kind of just keep the peace.
You have no idea how annoying that process is. As streamers, it is not worth it. Yeah. Everything is made by them? Yeah. Tell that to the guy who tried to go and copyright claim 300 of our videos because they said that they owned our music. I still had to manually fight every one of those videos.
It's annoying, dude. You have to manually fight them. And so here's the thing. If this person did not have legal right to it, why are they not in trouble? How are they still allowed to make that many claims on YouTube? And it could be a back-end YouTube thing. Maybe they get a slap on the wrist. Maybe they get a warning. Maybe they get their monetization things taken away. And I advocated that, especially when Epidemic Sound sent me, this was a false DMCA claim filed on behalf of us because they were using a collective agency, right? They're using an agency on behalf of them to file these reports, even though I had a subscription. You need to lose your privilege, my dude. You need that's not a slap on the wrist. You knowingly filed a false DMCA against me, even when I'm a subscriber of your product and license. That's what I have a problem with.
It was great. I don't need the hassle, so I don't play the music on stream, dude. Like, It just doesn't happen.
Makes sense.
Yeah. No, it's even more amazing. So the way that they did it was brilliant, actually. So we got a number of samples from a company in the EU, and those samples cost this money, and we bought the license for them. Our music is made out of those. This attacker group also bought those samples for money, and then they took those samples and made music out of it, and then they made it so that music couldn't be heard or seen in the EU, which was the parent company. They made a...
How is that legal? Like, that's actually kind of brilliant.
Fake musician in the country of India, a guy who didn't exist, and said that he was the original artist, the original musician for this, and then DMCA'd everybody across all of YouTube that was using that sample library. And since it was banned in the EU, the parent company couldn't see that it was going on. So we had to contact the parent company, show them what was going on, show them how to use a VPN to be able to see that this was happening, and then they had to go to legal bat for us and remove all of the copyright claims on.
That's wild. And so here's the thing, right? What if you get a claimant? So talk about Epidemic Sound, right? Let's defend Epidemic Sound for a second here, right? Let's say somebody is going to make Epidemic Sound, or somebody's going to make something like this happen, right? How is that fair to the company, right? Because then logically, you as somebody receiving a copyright claim from Epidemic Sound or insert other organization here, right? How is that fair? And now you have to spend your money and your effort and your resources trying to fix this, while also potentially, depending on who sees it on YouTube, right, potentially getting harassed by people on YouTube, right? In my situation, it comes down to licensing and them not seeming to acknowledge that I have a license, right? From the business side of things, and I'd be really, it's like someone made another Kip channel, right? Made like Kazuna Cap, right? Just replace the I's with A's, right? And then just spouted some really awful stuff, right? And it's like, you know, oh, well, people are going to say, oh, well, this is the closest next channel. How could you do this, right? And maybe they're using clips from me with an AI voice, that kind of thing, right? Now I have to go out to bat and I have to fight. How are situations like that fair? And I think for the companies, this becomes a big headache, especially when, you know, the samples of music that were bought, right, is being used and transformed, and the parent company can't see that because of where they live. Like, it's brilliant, but it's awful when you think about it.
300 plus videos manually, because it was
Wild.
all of our VODs ever on YouTube. And that's why I stopped uploading our VODs, because at the time we had 30 average viewers on Twitch. It was awful, dude. It was awful. It sucked so badly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing YouTube can do about it, because they can't get involved in the legal process. They just have to be like, well, a claim was made. What do you want?
YouTube is the middleman, which is why I actually like to circumvent YouTube. And I just reach out to the company directly at this point, or I'll tag them on Twitter, or or I'll email them, or I'll try to call them. I got a hold of, I think, Warner Brothers once. I think they blacklisted my number. You know, the receptionist is just doing their job, right? Especially when someone's calling in saying, hey, you're filing legal notice. Come on, like, let's have this chat. I'm more than happy to have this chat, right? And you also have to watch out as well, where if you push too hard, Epidemic Sound will not answer my emails. And that's fine. That is their incentive at that point. Despite, I can't get a hold of them, and I just pay my license fee. And if we run into another situation, I will deal with that then. And it just turns into a big headache. And VODs specifically, VODs generally have lower view count. I've actually paused a number of my projects over on my VOD channel, just because I know people want to watch me play New Vegas. I know people want to watch my thoughts and opinions on, things like Elden Ring and stuff. But for the amount of upload time and stuff, it's not sustainable for me right now. And especially when you do, I've had VODs that are copyright claimed, and a few of them I'm just like, I'm not even going to fight that. There were what was it, Naruto, Boruto Connections, the newest Storm game, right? Like how you have that anime opening soundtrack, right? It's like, oh, these are being claimed. No, I know what I did wrong. No, I'm not even going to fight that. Like you can win that one. I don't even care, right? Stuff like that I don't care about. When we have claimants coming out of the woodwork, that's a problem.
What? Like, they don't know. That's not their job. This system just sucks. It's not even YouTube's fault, though. That's not YouTube's fault. Name them and shame them. Their account got deleted because of this. Like, they went, the original sample company went to bat so hard that this scam group disappeared from the internet.
Nice.
But there's a billion other ones too.
Right.
We get them all the time. Somebody tried to claim, they tried to claim copyright to all of the music on our Amori video recently. And we had to go to bat with that and be like, no, you don't. Omocat owns all that. It's not owned by you. And we literally responded with saying, like, eat ass. No, you don't. And it's a copyright scam. All of it's a copyright scam, saying that they own the music so they can try and steal from your videos because you're too afraid to fight back. Because you're.
I feel this definitely makes people that are well-intentioned, I feel it puts them in a really rough position. Because what is stopping me? And if you have insight into copyright law, if you have insight into the back end of YouTube, I welcome your opinions in the comment section, right? Or I welcome your input, right? What is stopping me from making a new account, making a new email, and claiming Thor's videos, right? What's stopping me from doing it? One, I like to not be a dick. Two, I think the dude's cool. You should go check him out. Wink, wink, right? Three, that's not how that works. I don't hold legal ownership of anything he's using, right? So how is that fair for randoms to do this? And I like that he brings it up. YouTube's kind of caught in the middle here, right? And notice whenever I'm complaining about copyright and stuff, while I can be frustrated with the system, it's with the claimants, especially the false claimants and the ones that are spent fraudulently. That's my problem. And until a legal overhaul happens, it's not going to be fixed.
Afraid you're going to get a copyright strike. And that's not even YouTube's fault. That's not. That's people abusing DMCA, which is a crime, by the way.
Yes!
It's a crime.
Thank you.
You're not supposed to do that. But YouTube's not supposed to get involved either. It's not their place. Because otherwise, they'll have to get involved in all the legal processes on their platform, which is a billion of them, which makes no sense. Yeah, it's a fine in jail time a lot of times. It's a big deal. What do they gain from this? Money. For every content creator that just rolls over and says yes to those systems, the troll makes money off of their videos. Every one of them. And usually the copyright trolls will claim it out of India right now. It is not because Indian people are scamming you. It is because they are claiming it out of India because it is harder to litigate when that person gets caught. That's why.
Thank you for explaining this. I really love that he explained it this way. That certified Thor W.
It makes it easier for the scam artist to scam you just because it is harder to litigate against a random person in India when you are in the United States. That is the reason. It is likely that that person isn't even in India. They're just using that location to attack you. Yeah, it makes the getaway easier. Eckert's Ladder's been targeted a lot of times and won every time. Oh, I win every time too. I think we've probably fought this now close to 120, 130 times, and we've won.
I actually had a reaction I did recently, Maxor's Rotten Gold video. Apparently, the outro, I think it is, there's a specific portion I had to mute because it got copyright claimed, and it was upheld because the Elden Ring intro is owned by, and it was upheld by YouTube, was owned by, I can't remember who it was owned by. I'd have to go back and check the history on it. But, like, I had to go and mute that. And that's the thing is, like, React content, I think, is an easier one because technically I'm not using my own content. I'm using other people's content, like in this case, Thor's, as a kind of template to work from, right? To respond to react to, right? To organically look at and go, hey, these are my thoughts and opinions on the situation, right? To be transformative in some aspect. And I think that it's a lot easier for people to really go after React content. And even then, I feel kind of disingenuous saying that. Because at the end of the day, Thor had words, I can't word today, 300 copyright claims that he had to manually fight. And you have to manually fight each and every one of them. And I have a copy-paste template that I send to every company that I do. That being said, as far as I'm aware, because copyright is legal, you are being sent legal notice that, this person owns this copyright. I'm very careful about what I say, and I cannot give you advice if you should fight a claim or a strike. I would recommend you speak with some qualified, potentially legal counsel when it comes to that. I feel, at minimum, very disingenuous trying to advise you on the situations. It is a headache for a lot of creators, and I like that he's talking about this.
Every time. It's complete ass. It's complete ass. Every time one of our videos gets to 100,000 views, anytime a video gets to 100,000 views or more, it instantly gets DMCA scammed. There's like some kind of a bot that is basically checking to see if your video is popular enough for them to try and do this so that they can make sure that they're only hitting videos where they're actually going to make money off of them. Every time this happens. You're from India, it feels bad, man. Dude, it's not even your fault. It's just easier for people to use that country as like a shade, right? As like a cloak to hide doing this. Because it's harder in the United States to go track down someone from India and then litigate against them. That's the only reason. It sucks, but like that's what it is. It's not even your fault, man. Yeah, scammer scapegoat. Just easier. It's YouTube's fault? No, it's not. What's YouTube going to do? Get involved in every court case on its platform? Yeah, that makes sense. YouTube isn't supposed to police that. That's not their job. The idea that the platform somehow is going to get involved into every piece of individual to individual litigation that happens on the platform is insane. That's not really how that works.
I agree with his take on this. Do you expect YouTube to come out to bat for me having to fight some random fraudulent claim, or for my situation with Epidemic Sound, right? No, I don't think that's realistic. What I can say is that, look, if this is being filed, this needs to be noted. This needs to be taken down somewhere. They're not here to step in. They're here to be like, look, we host a platform. This legal claim is coming to us. We are informing you that you have now received a legal claim. And these are the terms, whether it's a copyright strike, copyright claim, etc., right? Or if it's a takedown notice, right? That's all they do. They are the middleman in this. So we can complain about YouTube all day, but at the end of the day, it's the claimants that need to be policed better.
YouTube's fault for having a DMCA policy that can be abused? How better would you construct that? Because that's not how DMCA works. The way that it works is DMCA is a person-to-person legal claim. YouTube stays out of that. This is called the law. It has nothing to do with YouTube. If you think
I would change it very specifically. If I have to send my legal information, especially when you escalate to a strike, right? If I have to send my address, my full legal name, actual personal identifying information, which working in finance, I consider my legal name on a counterclaim, personal identifying information, I need to know who's submitting it. I need to know who they are, the name of the employee, employee number, and proof of the copyright ID. Well, Kip, that's being a little too direct, right? That's being a little too invasive of company and people and their privacy. They only work on behalf of the company. Well, at least what I'm trying to say, I need something back, right? I need that back and forth. If I request, one, all the personal identifying information you now have on me because my name is now sent to you. Two, if I need to get proof of copyright to prove that you are not a fraudulent or false DMCA claimant, sure. But I don't think that'll ever happen, and I don't even know if that's realistic or not, right? We can speculate, have hopes and dreams all day, but I don't know if that's the way that would even make it better.
this is YouTube's fault, you deeply misunderstand how this process works. It can happen on any platform. People just complain about it because YouTube is big. There's nothing to do with YouTube. That's a copyright law problem, not a YouTube problem. It's never been a YouTube problem. It's always been a copyright law problem. And I know that because I have to do that every day. I like how your response to me just explaining that is it's 100% YouTube's fault with like no additional information. This has nothing to do with YouTube. None.
I think it's different on Twitch because you don't see it as often or hear about it as often. I get copyright, like, hey, copyrighted content found in your VODs all the time. I don't ever make my VODs public. I don't. I usually just delete them after the fact because I don't care, right? If I do a bunch of reactions in a row, I'll chop them up, boost the audio, fix it a little bit, and then I'll upload it to YouTube, right? I don't really deal with the recorded back end of Twitch kind of thing, but I can tell you firsthand experience, it does happen on other platforms. It happens to me on Twitch all the time.
Zero. Brain gone. This is a copyright problem, not a YouTube problem. I would agree that DMCA needs an overhaul. I would agree with that. YouTube destroys channels based on false claims? No. No, they do not. A individual files a DMCA claim. The individual can say, no, that's not true. And then the original claimer says, yes, it is true. And then YouTube says, you two go to court. Everything is locked down until that takes place.
Yeah.
Which is what they have to do based on the law. That is
the way I understand copyright law. If you counter-strike, don't take this as legal advice, not legal advice. If you try to counter-strike, right? If they, if it escalates to a strike and you counter that and you have to input more information and you lose that, the claimant has to litigate against you or else their ownership of that copyright, that IP, comes into question. Definitely do your research on this subject, but I understand what he's saying.
not YouTube's choice. That is their obligation. Same thing with Steam. Same thing with Twitch. DMCA is Digital Millennium Copyright Act. United States law. Even if it's a baseless case, how is YouTube to know if that case is baseless or not? It is not their place to get involved in litigation between two individual users. If they did, they would be in legal trouble because they would have to get involved in either all of the cases on their platform, or they could run into issues for showing bias in a individual-to-individual legal case. YouTube cannot get involved. No platform can get involved. If you DMCA someone on Twitch, if you DMCA someone on YouTube, if you DMCA somebody on Steam, it is the same process.
If I use Smash Mouth All-Star in a video, is it YouTube getting on me? Or is it the company, claimant, music producer, etc.? Is it them getting on me? It is the claimant issuing legal notice to me. YouTube's just the middleman. YouTube's just the one hosting the video, putting the ads on stuff, and then that goes to the advertisers to pay people out, right? It is the claimant that is issuing the legal action. YouTube's just the middleman.
There's no difference between YouTube, Twitch, and Steam when it comes to allowing or enforcing DMCA.
Yeah. The platform $5
takes a step back because they're not supposed to get involved, and the individuals have a civil suit against each other regarding the copyright control of the media that is involved in the DMCA case.
What if I were to say, hypothetically, if I had all of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, right? Seasons 1 through 4, right? DVD, right? And I ripped that and tried to upload, because you can upload media to Steam, right? We have anime, cartoon episodes up on Steam. I don't know the process of that. I'm sure he has more insight into this. But if I were to upload that to Steam, do you think I wouldn't get copyrighted for trying to sell materials that aren't my own? No, 100% would happen. What if I were to stream the Super Bowl on Twitch? Do you think I wouldn't get DMCA'd, potentially taken to court? Apparently that flies, I guess, over on Kick or something. But I'm not going to try that because you have DraftKings, so many other things in regards to American football that use the Super Bowl, pay for licenses, etc. Like, this is not just on the platform. He is 100% right. And I know I'm going to have comments saying that's a YouTube thing. I understand what he's saying. I'm agreeing with what Thor's saying. He's right in this.
Nothing to do with YouTube. Nothing to do with Twitch. Nothing to do with Steam. Ever. Do not blame a platform for that. They have to stay uninvolved. They will lose safe haven otherwise. For what good is DMCA used? I use it all the time. Every time one of those on the internet takes one of our shorts, directly copies it, and then re-uploads it, I DMCA them. I do like 5 takedowns a day. Every day. Nice. Sometimes more. Usually.
I think that's valid. And that being said, if this runs afoul of his processes, I'll be the first to admit that, right? If I get a, hey, Kip, please don't do that, right? Or I get a takedown notice, cool, I just take it down, right? I try to be transformative of what I do, but at the end of the day, ironically, I had this conversation with my father recently where I explained what I do, right? I watch videos, I commentate on them, I add, commentary, I add opinions, I talk about it, right? And he's, just like, can you make money doing this? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And, I had to explain to him, what was it? Market replacement, that kind of thing, right? CoffeeZilla, talked about that, where if I were to take this video and either re-upload it, like he's saying, re-uploading a short, or if I were to take this and say maybe add like, a minute of commentary, right? 12:30 runtime, 13:54 upload time. And I just sit here doing this all stream, right? Oh, that's cool, right? And I'm adding nothing. Yeah, I think he has legal grounds to be able to, say, hey, don't do that, right? To which my father responds, and he's just like, well, if it's out on the internet, anyone can use it. Yes and no. Like, I understand the mindset he's coming from. However, I, as somebody that does what I do, definitely look at market replacement. I look at being transformative and additive, and I look at making sure that, wink, wink, you should go check out this original channel as well as Thor PirateSoftware himself. Wink, wink, right? Like, I think that's completely fair for creators to do that, especially in regards to React content, what I do, and especially if you have a lazy creator, you have someone that doesn't want to add context and stuff like that, right? That becomes a problem. Because just because somebody issues a copyright claim, takedown notice, etc., doesn't mean that they're bad. Not all claimants are bad. There are valid reasons to claim stuff and have stuff taken down. Once again, if I upload Marvel the Avengers, if I upload Star Wars Episode 6 to YouTube, gonna get told to take it down, right? Or at least gonna get told, hey, you don't make any money off this. Fair and accurate.
So yeah, that's kind of what it's for. Stop re-uploading my Go make your own Don't re-upload my See, that's an interesting one there. The laws are a court should decide, and only then should a platform be required to take down. So you want to take it from the way that it currently is, which is take down immediately, to it has to get caught up in the court system for an unknown amount of time before any action is taken. When in many cases, the court system will never actually pick this up because it'll be caught in a mile of red tape, which means no enforcement will ever take place, and the entire internet will be filled with scam videos of re-uploads of your content forever. And the platforms will not be able to do anything about this because, beholden by the law, they have no obligation to take any action whatsoever. You see how that doesn't work? You see how that turns into just like an absolute cesspool of instantly? That sounds preferable? Let me show you what happens when that happens. I'm going to show you exactly the outcome that you are asking for right now. This is the outcome that you're asking for because it's exactly how that works on TikTok. There are hundreds of accounts like this. Hundreds of them. All real.
I can't stand this. This is why I understand when people say that React content has an issue. Or, why this gets lumped into what I do. Because it's true, right? There are people like this that exist. There are clip channels like this that exist. They see, free clip, popular clip, right? And do this, right? Is what I'm doing any different, right? Where even though I'm reacting and I've up to 5x'd videos before, right? Is that necessarily fair to the original creator? And there is something in here where we have to have a discussion about this. And it's why, right? I've reached out to many creators, right? And sometimes I get an email back. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get, hey, don't react to my context, or don't react to my content, or hey, react to my content, make sure it's not full screen and stuff like that, right? And at the end of the day, I want to be on as many people's good sides as I can. Like, I've seen Asmongold react to PirateSoftware a number of times, so I think I'm in the good territory if I'm transformative enough. But that being said, if he or someone on behalf of him emails me tomorrow or issues me a takedown notice, I get it, right? I'll make an announcement. I'll make a community post saying like, hey, person doesn't want his content reacted to anymore. Or if he does want it reacted to, he wants it done in this way. Cool. Kyle Hill, right? Kyle Hill doesn't want anybody except, what was the condition? Except if they were like specialists in their field to react to his stuff. Love the dude. That's why I don't react to his stuff. What do I have to add? Even as transformative as I am, right? I am breaking things that he is very specifically going for, right? I'm taking his what's the one he was talking about? Fake science. I took that a little too far because it's like I talk about science on here from time to time, and I've definitely said things that are wrong. So, in my opinion, I run afoul of him saying don't post content if it's not going to be accurate, right? Like if I said something about like life juice, quote unquote, is blue because of lack of oxygen, something like that. Somebody's like, actually, that's not how that works, and they explain the process on that and explain, biology to me a little bit more. But yeah, I run afoul of that too. I run afoul of spreading misinformation, trying to talk about science. Cycling back though, right? It's like, I understand it. There's creators that don't want their stuff reacted to. And I'm critical of re-uploads. And you know what? If a creator doesn't want me to react to their stuff, that's fine. I open it up to everyone every single time, right? It's not hard to not be a dick.
Uploading my content, all of them taking it and deep frying it and changing the audio speed and all kinds of. Some of the ones that I've actually gotten taken down have 60,000 followers or
Wild.
more. There are hundreds of these accounts. Hundreds. And the reason why is because TikTok doesn't actually delete accounts unless there is overwhelming
That's wild.
attacks on them. This sucks. So the scenario you're asking for ends like this. The scenario that we have right now ends like YouTube, where it's way easier to police this. Way easier. I would rather have the system on YouTube than I would rather than having the system on TikTok. I've sent some days on TikTok, I've sent 50 plus DMCAs. And you know what happens? The account doesn't get taken down. Those videos disappear and they pop right back up. It's all automated. It's terrible, man. It's really not good. Look at all these freaking accounts. Look at them all.
That's wild, dude.
Look at them all. Look at all these pirate softwares, dude. Like, come on. So you can't just walk into one of these and be like, I know more than this. We should just change everything. No, you actually have to look at the outcome of what could happen there. You have to.
I like his logic there. I like that you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to look at the macro scale of this. I think a lot more people do need to look at the macro scale of some of these decisions. 100%.
And the outcome of this is that the current system is really quite good. The problem with it is when you get to international claims, you run into problems.
Yes.
Local claims, domestic claims, easy. But the reason why international claims become a problem is because, like I said, you could just make an artist in India and attack people's content in the United States, which is what happens. And the platform should not be involved because otherwise they'd have to be involved in all of these cases.
Right.
And we shouldn't delay on enforcement on these because if we do, then we end up with TikTok. You have to do it immediately. It's the best way to do it. Really easy that way. It's annoying, but it's way better this way. What about changing the strike system related to DMCA, which instills fear and finding the feedback? I think that's something that YouTube can improve. I could agree with that. I think a better system would be a DMCA claim is filed. The defender has a chance to make a claim in response, and then it goes to civil court, whatever that's going to be. I don't like the strike system on YouTube because it means the defender doesn't want to defend themselves. I think that's the one thing they could change. The reason why they likely won't change this is because there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of requests per day. And what ends up happening is that the defender could claim that they won that civil case and that the claim should be removed. And YouTube would then have to go and read through all of those civil claims and confirm with local courts if they are real or not.
If YouTube's the middleman, all I'm asking for, give me evidence of the claim. Give me evidence you own this, your notarized legal documentation, whatever that shows you own that copyright. Send me that legal letter, right? Have a letterhead of some type. Send it along with the claim, right? Oh, but that's going to put work on the companies. Look, if you're making a claim, as far as I'm aware, you can have bots pick it up, but claims, to my knowledge, are always manually submitted, right? A person has to click that. And if I'm wrong, I'm open to the contrary. I'm open to evidence that, no, this can be done automated through and through. A company or a claimant doesn't have to physically have a person submit that. If I give your information to the contrary, I'm open to that. I think that makes the system better because now both parties have to give information rather than me giving my full legal name out to randoms and then they revoke the claim like, oh, well, that's fine. And it's like, no, you submitted this. This is legal action you submitted. Why do you get to walk away with this, right? But then you see how we're already developed. It's becoming a more stressful situation Hi, Kip. My name is Pirate Software. You didn't ask me to use my clips. I also don't think you add enough to be transformative. Hey. Oh, hey, you're the actual Pirate Software. You know what? Cool. Makes sense. Or if I have, say, an agency, right? An agency on behalf of Pirate Software submits paperwork. Yes, we at X Core. I can't even say that because Musk has X now, doesn't he? But you know what I'm saying, right? We at insert claimant agency here or agency here work with Pirate Software. This is our documentation on this. This is a valid legal claim. Cool. Have that seal, what signatures, whatever you need to make sure it's official. Bam. But I think that's going to be received poorly by big claimants. I mean, you'll probably see pushback in regards to, say, let's take someone like, Warner Brothers Music, right? Especially if they have, I would assume, hundreds of thousands of pings a day, most likely, right? That might increase their workload. Lawyers are also expensive. They really are. So even what I say probably isn't even going to be the end all. It's probably going to make things worse. It could very well.
That is likely why this doesn't happen. YouTube has to just take it down. Imagine the paperwork and the follow-up to determine that win or loss is real with every local court globally. See the problem? The defender would need to provide copies of the judgment, and the defender would need to provide copies of judgment that are real. And YouTube would have to be able to discern if it is real. You see how this becomes impossible?
What I said about the signatures and stuff like that, because a false claimant could submit a fake piece of paper, right? They could forge it, right? That's another problem that comes with what I'm trying to say. Just because I say something doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean that I'm necessarily even correct or well-read about the topic. I try my best, and I feel I come to a lot of intelligent conclusions. But even then, right there, he's pointing out flaws in what I'm trying to say.
This is why it works this way. It's not about laziness. It's about fraud and how easy it is to fake any of this. Right. You just can't let it work that way. You have to think about what is possible when we're talking about fraud and fake documentation. And then on top of it, what is possible based on the total throughput and numbers of the platform. It's just not a possibility. It's never going to be a possibility. It's a pipe dream to think otherwise. I smell a blockchain solution. Shut up. Blockchain solution.
Awful, dude.
Jesus Christ. If we put it in a ledger, it'll fix it. That'll definitely make it so that millions of documents are readable every day. Blockchain, NFTs, Bitcoin. I hate that part of the internet so goddamn much. It's insane. You take your butt coin, you get out of here. No, dude. Blockchain doesn't inherently fix anything. You know what blockchain is? Do you know what a blockchain is? Blockchain is a ledger. Do you know what a ledger is? It's an immutable record. Do you know what an immutable record is? It means it cannot be changed. Do you know what a database is? A record of values that can be changed. Do you know why we use databases? So when someone steals your account and they steal 500 gold from your account or steal all your items in World of Warcraft, we can refund it to you, which we can't do on a ledger.
Ah, that's smart.
There is no inherent gain in putting millions of documents of DMCA claims in a ledger. What the living shit are you talking about?
That is probably the best argument I've heard against blockchain. Thank you, Pirate Software. That was actually incredibly enlightening, and I'm not going to use that. If you haven't checked out Pirate Software, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and check him out. I don't want to react to everything this man does because I think there's just plenty of gold. I definitely want to make sure I'm, sending people to Daily Dose of Thor, the FanMade, right? I want to make sure I'm sending people to, a channel in the first comment saying that has permission, right? Did I email Thor in advance? No, I did not. And that being said, if he's not okay with this upload, more than happy to take it down, as I've said. In what I do, I'm a fan of being progressive. I'm a fan of, if you can't ask, it's not do first, ask for permission for forgiveness later. It's, look, I'm going to do this. If there's an issue that arises, we're all adults. We can talk about this. And, if we don't want this up, cool. But I feel like I've been at least decently transformative. I think I've almost 3x'd the video. So we'll see. If you haven't checked him out, though, definitely go ahead and check him out. Awesome dude. Love his content. And I think he's got a lot of good takes. And even then, in regards to the whole Sony Arrowhead thing, right? I know a lot of people were critical on some of my takes. A lot of his sentiment and my sentiment, we mirrored a lot of that. So if you're not going to listen to me, maybe listen to someone that comes across like they know what they're talking about, that isn't a dingus on the internet. I think you can find a lot of wisdom in what he has to say. But that'll be it. As always, link in the description down below. You will be able to see this as well as a link to Pirate Software's channel. And until next time, see you then.